Good evening, cyber friends. The Midi Man coming back at you from Walker's Music. Yet another word for the day, Saturday night edition. We're asking God for strength. We thank Him for life as well as it is. Also giving a shout out to the YouTube family. Every one of you, you know who you are. To the End Time Harvest Gang, Brother L.A., Kingdom Knowledge, Elder Michael McCray, Pastor Johnny McCray, his wife Janet McCray. Also to the Blog Talk family. Every one of you, you know who you are. The one support the program, faithful supporters, Brother JT, Lady D, Sister Maria, all of you, you know, we almost, your name's almost synonymous now with the Bible study. Nevertheless, we're going to go on and do what thus says the Lord tonight. I want to come back from the book of Matthew again, Matthew 24. I want to read a part of scripture where Jesus' disciples, they was in the temple and they was admiring it. And I'm quite sure a lot of you familiar with this passage of scripture. You should be, even if you're not. You should be very, very well aware, because a lot of talk has been done on it in this year alone. But nevertheless, the gospel is never old, and you always can get something out of it every time you read it, if you got your spiritual eyes and ears open. And we want to read from 24. Jesus said, and Jesus went out, 24:1. Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? What shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Jesus went on further to say that, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. We see that now, people. And there shall be famines, we see that. And there shall be pestilences, we've seen that and see that. Earthquake every day in all different kinds of places. We see all of this is happening right now. What did Jesus tell them in verse 8? He said, all these are the beginning of sorrows. This is just the beginning. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended. People are very easy to get offended these days, people. And shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, that's lawlessness, people, the love of many shall wax cold. We see that already. And here goes my topic of this video, God's gospel. Jesus said, And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world, for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. We're going to stop right there. May God have a blessing to the reader, hear, and do His holy word. And this gospel of the kingdom. My topic of my video said God's gospel. I think you get it. I think everybody should get where I'm coming from. Jesus said, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Well, let's see. Jesus was very specific. Let us look at the word this. When you look at the word this, the word this is singular. In other words, not plural, not many gospels, but this gospel. The word this is singular. It is speaking of something specific. And so this lets me know here that there were other gospels being preached when Jesus was preaching. Yes, sir. There were other gospels. You know, they had all kinds. The people worship all kinds of things. The Romans had many gods, and the Greeks, they had so many. They had more gods than they had churches for them. So, in other words, they had all kinds of gospels that were being preached, even when Jesus was preaching. Therefore, Jesus said, this gospel, meaning this is what they was distributing. This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached. In other words, whatever Jesus said, this gospel that he left with the 12. And when he went home to glory, he said, I want you to go into all the world and preach and teach this gospel for a witness unto all nations, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I had told you. So, we see here that even in Jesus' day, there were many gospels. There were false prophets in Jesus' day. There are false prophets now. But the word, this gospel, you got people now talking about it in many ways to God. You know, the New Age movement and all this here, you know, the crystal and everybody worshiping this and worshiping that. But no, they talking about, you know, that's everybody, no, I don't agree with that. There's one way. Jesus is the way. Jesus is the way. Only way. The only way to the Father. He is the one that died. Therefore, he said, this gospel. What is this gospel? Good news from on high. He died Friday, got up on Sunday morning with all power in his hand. He rose, went on back to glory, sits at the right hand of the Father making intercession for us. This is the gospel. Now, I don't know what book or Bible a lot of us have, and a lot of us are reading. And we getting all these many ways to the Father, many this. I look at this here book, this Bible, this gospel. I don't know of any other book. I don't know of any other magazine that deals with this gospel and this Bible covers 3 periods of time. 3 periods. It tells what has happened. It's telling what's happening now, and it tells what will happen. Now, I've read many periodicals. I read many magazines and what books and whatnot, but I've never read one quite like this gospel that deals with 3 periods of time. Now, God tells the beginning from the end, and he tells the end from the beginning. So in other words, now God has always been God. We can't figure that out, people. In other words, we need to stop trying to figure out God. Stop. Don't worry about it. Take his word for what it is. We said it here, I'm guilty. I be trying to wonder, Lord, I wonder why this. I wonder why we got to figure out everything. This is what we can't even figure out little simple stuff. So what we gonna do with complex? We want God to show us this. If the Lord show me this, no, you ain't gonna do nothing. If you ain't doing nothing now, you ain't gonna do nothing. He show it to you. No, do what the word says. And Jesus said, this gospel shall have been preached throughout the whole world for a witness unto all. Then shall the end come. People, the end cannot come. Yes, there are a lot of things that's got to happen. There's still a lot of things that got to be fulfilled in this earth. A lot of things got to take place before Jesus comes. But the one thing got to be done before he can come. This gospel got to be preached. This gospel got to be, I ain't talking about now my gospel and your gospel. I'm talking about this gospel got to be preached. And it got to be witnessed unto the whole world to give them a chance to either accept or reject the truth and the Christ. Everybody got to have a chance, people. And when that happens, Jesus said, then shall the end come. So right about here, I'm just going to end this video right here. And they say, like this is sort of like a mini word for the mini walk through the word, like a mini Bible study. They're letting you know there's no many ways to God. There's only one way. Jesus said, I am the door. And unless you come through the door, you can forget it. So with that being said, this mini man saying whatever you get into, if God is not in it, best you come on out of it. Mini man saying peace. Goodbye.